Hi there. Tell me, what if the market cap of AMD, which now is around 281 billion, goes to more than 1 trillion? As it happened with Nvidia. As you can see, the market cap of Nvidia is about 1.7 trillion. That's a huge amount. And why not AMD can reach the same market cap? Or maybe 1 trillion in market cap. That may also happen if AMD keeps growing. As you can see year to date, AMD is up 25% and Nvidia is up 43%. So it seems like the semiconductor industry keeps growing. This year 2024 may be the year of AMD, where their market cap may go to 1 trillion. That can also happen. As you can see the past performance, the stock price went up a lot from 2020. More than 200%. Now, to assess if AMD can go up to 1 trillion or even more, you also have to look at their fundamentals. What the market expects and how much can AMD grow in the future. So, if you look at the analyst estimates, you can see that their earnings are expected to go up. Also their free cash flow, as you can see, it is expected to be around 15 billion by 2027. And also the revenue is expected to more than double, from 22 billion to over 45 billion. Now, these are the analyst estimates. You can trust them or ignore them. But what you have to be aware of is the future growth of AMD. If they keep growing, the revenue increases and also their earnings, then the market cap can go to 1 trillion in the long term. So, when you look at AMD, what they're doing, you can see that they have more segments. This is a well-diversified business. They offer chips for data centers, client, gaming, and embedded. If you wonder why the stock price went up so much in just a few months, over 80%, then you have to look at their income. You may see that for the full year 2023, they reported a decrease in the revenue of about 4% year over year. But why the stock price went up more than 70%? Why this? As the revenue is declining. And also, their net income has declined. In 2023, has declined by 45% compared to 2022. So the results weren't that great. But why the stock price keeps going up? Well, if you look at their last quarter, Q4, you can see that their numbers were quite great. They improved a lot. The revenue was up 10% and their net income, as you can see, went up a lot. They reported a growth rate over 3,000, from 21 million to over 600 million, compared to the last quarter from 2022. So their growth rate year over year, based on the last quarter, Q4, was amazing. And because of this huge growth, plus also the gross margins have improved from 43% to 47%, all of these contribute to this increase in the stock price. An increase over 80% in just a few months. So this is a nice return to have all the time. But of course, you have to know when to buy and when to sell. So the market is expecting a lot of growth ahead. And of course, if AMD keeps reporting higher and higher growth rate in the future, then the market cap can go to 1 trillion. As it happened with Nvidia. As you probably know, AMD also makes great products. As you've seen, they offer products to many industries. Cloud computing, client, PC, gaming, and embedded. And most of their growth came from data centers and embedded, offset by a decline in the client and gaming segment. So it seems that the huge opportunity AMD is in data centers and embedded. If they keep growing to deliver more products and have more clients in these segments, then AMD can grow even more than 281 billion market cap. This can also happen. Everything depends on their growth rate. As you can see, year over year, the growth rate was down 35%, but if they keep reporting, as it happened in the last quarter, Q4, higher growth rates, then the stock price will go up a lot. As there is huge demand for chips, especially for data centers, then their growth rate may continue in the future. So AMD may be a great opportunity. As I said, the market cap can go up a lot. But of course, every time you invest in a business, no matter what business, AMD or Nvidia or Tesla, you have to be aware of the risk. Because this, at the current price of $174, this may be the peak, as it happened in 2021. And then you can see what happened next, a decline of 62%. And this may happen again if AMD reports a slower growth rate than expected. So, when you look at the analyst estimates, you can see that for 2024, the earnings are expected to be up to about 2.7 billion, also the free cash flow of about 4 billion, and then they're expected to keep growing to 5 billion, 6 billion, and then 9.6 billion in earnings by 2027. If this happens, then the stock price will go up a lot. So you take these estimates, what the market expects, and you try to value AMD. What is the fair value of this business? So if you look at the opportunity, the great scenario, if AMD delivers the expected numbers, the expected free cash flows, and they keep growing, then the fair value may be around 327 billion in market cap. And now the market cap is around 281 billion. So this may happen. You might get a 10% annual return if you buy around this level, 327 billion. But be aware now the market cap is much lower, so your return will be higher. Of course, if you want the fair value per share, you can look this. Fair value per share, $202. So this may happen if they report a higher growth rate in the future, then the stock price can go up. And now it seems a little bit undervalued. But as I said, if AMD doesn't deliver the expected growth rate, then you also have the risk. As you can see, the risk is that the market cap may go to 163 billion. This can also happen. If they don't deliver 16 billion in free cash flow in the next 4 years or 5 years, and their numbers will decline, then their fair value will go down. So you have to be aware of this risk. The fair value may be around $100. This can also happen. Everything depends on their future growth rate. If you can predict how much money they will make in the next 5 years or 4 years, then you can easily calculate the fair value. That's why you have to have a marginal safety, so that you are protected against the risk. In a normal case, where they may grow more in the future, not that much as in the gray scenario, but they will grow, then the fair value may be around 218 billion. And now the market cap is around 281 billion. So the current level, AMD seems a little bit overvalued. But as I said, if you look at the last quarter, Q4, and you look at their amazing growth rate, plus if they keep growing to report higher and higher numbers, then those estimates may be quite low, and the fair value may be even higher. The market cap can go up a lot, more than 300 billion. This can also happen. But of course, to predict how much money AMD will earn in the future, you also have to look at their products. What they're doing, their CPUs, GPUs, and others. You have to look at the demand for those products. And if the demand is high, as is now the case, because more data centers are created, there is this AI revolution, and there is a high demand for chips. So AMD has good tailwinds from this semiconductor industry. There is a huge demand for their products. Of course, not only from AMD, also from Nvidia, Intel, and other companies. But don't forget the risk. What goes up, it will go down at some point. But nobody knows when that will happen. That's why you have to be prepared for the risk. Another decline like this may happen. And you don't want to buy now at the highest peak of around $174, and then the stock price goes to $100 or even less, to $50. If that happens, then your return won't be that great, and you don't want that. You want to buy when the stock price is low, as it was the case in 2020, and sell when the price is too high or overvalued. If you can do that and you are patient, then you can make a lot of money with any stock, not only AMD or Nvidia. You can buy Intel, for instance. Maybe Intel will be the next winner in this semiconductor industry. However, as you can see, if you have invested in Intel at the lowest peak, when the price was about $25, and hold it more than 1 year, then your return would have been about 65%. So that's great. That's why it's important when you buy and when you sell. So it's up to you. If you believe that AMD will grow more in the future, their earnings will improve, then it might be a good buy at the current level. But if you want to be aware of the risk that their growth rate may not be that high, then you wait for a better price. And when you have that margin of safety, as is what the case in 2020, $55 per share, then you can take advantage and make a huge profit in just 1 year. So it's up to you. And if you have other questions, please let me know in the comments.